This is not and will not be America's fight alone.
Our job is to find enough common ground.
Yeah, I'm a kid from Akron, Ohio.
Make history.
Why do success?
I had no knowledge.
I'm running for president.
Oh, yeah!
Hey, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Mr. Miller.
Wow.
Sir,
People keep coming back.
I know.
How amazing is that?
It's fantastic. Thank you.
I'll
Thank
take
you. So nice.
Thank you.
Enough. Thank you so much. Welcome to the HuffPost Show, Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Yeah. Awesome.
We have not been canceled. Yes.
I am Roy Seekoff. This is Mr. Mark Lamont Hill, and we're coming to you live from our LA studio.
That's right. We've got a great show for you tonight. Dan Aykroyd is here.
Dan Aykroyd in the house.
He is here. We also have Veep's Matt Walsh, and we have awkward black girl creator and star Issa. She's here. Give her a round of applause. They're going to be talking about all kinds of awesome stuff, the week's top stories, and so much more.
But first, we want to kick things off with This Week In. Our look at some of the fanatics, fools, morons, and miscreants who caught our attention this week.
All right. This week in Poor Little Rich Folks. Every year around April 15th, mouthpieces for the wealthy like the Wall Street Journal and CNBC, they break out their sad violins. And they complain that the rich carry the burden of paying way more taxes than the rest of us. But there's a new study, and it shows that when you factor in all the different types of taxes, it turns out that most Americans pay just about the same percentage of their income. Other than, of course, Wesley Snipes, Willie Nelson, and most major corporations.
Yeah. They seem to get away with that.
Right, I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
No, so how are they lying to us? They're just telling us stuff that's not true.
Well, they're not lying technically, Mark. They're just cherry-picking the facts that let them take you with a narrative that sounds good for them.
That sounds like lying to me. That's not
when you see something...
That's a fancy way of saying they're lying, right?
But when you see a headline like the Wall Street Journals that say 20% of the top earners pay 84% of the taxes, you go, wow, that doesn't seem fair. But then you find out from this study that if you add in state tax and local tax and all the excise taxes, we pay about the same. The top 1% pays 32% of their income for taxes, and the bottom 99 pays about 30%.
Oh, that's about the same.
So when you hear that, you say, that sounds like a bullshit narrative.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, that's what bugs me out, because you know this, and you're not a stat guy, you're not a math guy.
Well, I did about 550 on my SATs.
Right. I mean, you didn't figure this shit out yourself, is what I'm saying, right?
I did not.
Clearly, somebody knows this information, and every year the rich trot out this information as if they don't know it. So, do they just have better PR than we do? Why is it that we're having this stupid debate about whether they pay their fair share and not having a real debate about everybody pays their fair share already?
Yeah, well, they have the Wall Street Journal, they have CNBC, and we have H&R Block commercials, you know? Money, money, money. I mean, I tend to think of this, Mark, like Oliver Wendell Holmes said. You know, I think they got to keep this in mind. Taxes are the price we pay for civilization.
That's deep.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was Holmes, it wasn't me.
The last couple of years, I made a little bit more money, though, and I'm a little more willing to be less civilized.
Yeah.
You know, like, every year I can be a little less civilized. I mean,
like how much civilization? Like 50% civilized?
I will have people hanging from dangling from trees, not hanging from trees. We're not in Ferguson. No, dangling from trees.
Thank God the white guy didn't say that. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I can deal with a little uncivilization, but how? What do you think is fair?
Well, here's what I think, though. I think we have to look at this in historical context. Okay, under Eisenhower and Kennedy, the top tax rate was 91%.
Is that what you paid?
No. I'm down below that.
I couldn't resist.
Yeah. But, you know, and then it stayed that way all the way through Nixon and Ford. You know, Reagan still had a very high top rate. Of course, he cut the lower rates.
Right.
But so, in fact, this historically is one of the lowest tax rates that people have paid.
So this is actually the best time to be paying taxes if you're rich, probably in American history.
One of the best times, yes. The only thing that is going up, in fact, is the amount of bitching that rich people do about their taxes. Yeah. All right, next up. This week in People for the Unethical Treatment of Felons. PETA held a press conference at which celebrity spokesperson Pamela Anderson cozied up to notoriously brutal Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio, despite his record of human rights abuses, because, in a cost-cutting move, he has removed meat products from his prisoner's meal. Yeah. What's next, PETA? A photo op with ISIS if they agree to stop wearing leather boots in their beheading videos? Now, Mark, we all know that Sheriff Joe is an asshole. This has been known.
That's reasonable.
This has been known far and wide. So is PETA just really, really badly read, or do they just not care?
That's a good question. They're really, really fucked up.
Yeah.
I hate PETA. I hate PETA. They almost make me want to eat animals. I don't even like animals. I almost eat animals just because of fucking PETA.
Why is that?
Because they're standing next to a guy who's starving prisoners, and they're talking like he's imposing a vegan diet. It's not a vegan diet. Look at Joe Arpaio. He doesn't eat vegan.
Yeah, I mean, that's the bottom line, right? Is that they think that they're ethical, but they're aligning themselves with the most unethical guy.
I don't even think they think they're ethical at this point. I think they just don't care. You know how some people are just tunnel vision? You got that guy at the office that's just obsessed with something. Their thing is animals. And so they'll kill a human being to save an animal. I've never seen anything like it.
Single issue. Single issue,
yes.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing about Joe Arpaio. Let's be honest. As you said, he's not caring about a vegan diet. He wants to be punitive, and he's also trying to save money.
Yes, they're saving about $200,000 a year by having the vegan diet. It's gruel, by the way, he's serving them, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like really bad Dinty Moore stew.
Exactly.
Yeah. But here's the interesting thing: penny wise, pound foolish. A court has ordered Arpaio and his force to pay $30 million for their years and years and years of racial profiling. So at that rate, saving $200,000 a year, they're going to have to cut out meat for 109 years.
Don't give them any ideas.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if it were just this, I'd say, all right, it's a bad idea. You know, sometimes we make bad choices, right? But they're bad with the vegan thing. They're bad with the starving people thing. They're bad with the racial profiling. And PETA actually is kind of bad about everything.
Yeah, they objectify women.
Yeah.
And you're not going to believe this ad. You see how bad PETA is, even when it comes to women.
This is Jessica. She suffers from BWV-AKT boom. Boyfriend went vegan and knocked the bottom out of me. A painful condition that occurs when boyfriends go vegan and can suddenly bring it like a tantric porn star. For Jessica, it's too late.
Oh, you're back. You feeling better?
Please go to bwvaktboom.com and learn to go vegan safely.
No.
Now these sick fucks are laughing.
No.
You're all terrible people, by the way.
That wasn't a parody video.
No, that's the point.
That's the real PETA video, because they're saying basically abusive men are okay, and in fact, they're comedic fodder, just as long as they don't eat meat.
That's all they care about. That's what I mean. You guys should feel ashamed of yourselves right now.
Yeah.
Yes. No. I'm teasing.
Yeah. But the one thing that PETA has done, they have convinced me that, in fact, animals really are more important than some people, specifically people who are loyal members of PETA.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
We got one more for you. This week in screwing with Eric Holder's vacation plans.
Yeah.
Attorney General designate Loretta Lynch remains in limbo. Her confirmation is being held hostage by Mitch McConnell, who's angry that Democrats won't sign off on an unrelated human trafficking bill to which Republicans have attached, surprise, surprise, an amendment gratuitously restricting abortions. We'd all be so much better if we could just get a bill that gratuitously restricted Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That would be the ticket.
What's going on here? Is this just a case of elections have consequences?
Yeah, it has consequences, and this is like a great thing for them. It checks off all the boxes, you know? It's like, let's see, gridlock, check. Play to the wingnut faction of our party, check. Irritate President Obama. Let's see, based on what he said today, I think that's working.
Call Loretta Lynch for a vote. Get her confirmed. Put her in place. Let her do her job. This is embarrassing.
He's pretty fucking mad. That's mad for him.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's like he's WWE mad, you know?
Yeah.
You know, McConnell, I'll see you in the iron cage, you know?
But he's right. This shit is embarrassing. And it's not only embarrassing, it shows you just how much Republicans hate Obama. They hate Eric Holder, right? They're not confirming him and keeping Eric Holder in office.
Exactly.
It's like, we hate you so much, we're going to keep our enemy in office. I don't understand their logic.
It's just, it's pure evil. Can I use the word evil?
You did.
I did. Okay, anyway, here's the interesting thing. When we talk about this sex trafficking bill, it's a lot of details, but basically it was a bipartisan bill. Everybody was in favor of it, and then they tacked on this abortion rider. Now, they seem to be able to tack on an abortion rider to everything.
To everything.
Hey, we're gonna fund this park. Only if you don't have abortions there. Abortion rider, yeah.
It's ridiculous. Maybe we should have like a global warming bill and put abortion in it so that they will actually put it through.
Finally. See, you are thinking, Mr.
I am thinking like a Republican.
Yeah, and here's the other little sweet spot about this story. Al Sharpton and some civil rights groups have decided to go on a hunger strike until Loretta Lynch is confirmed.
How long has he been on this hunger strike?
However, he's actually not skipping the meals. And it's the civil rights groups, and they're trading off just not eating every other day, which to me actually sounds like everybody I know in L.A. All right, it's time to bring out tonight's interview guest. He is a comedy legend who has given us some of the most iconic characters of the last 40 years. Let's take a look.
Yes, fish eaters, the days of troublesome scaling, cutting, and gutting are over.
Now I've done it. I've cut the dickens out of my finger.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
There will certainly be a lot of swinging in our bachelor pad tonight.
We're the good old Blues Brothers, boys, man.
We're on a mission from God.
You've got to try this pole.
Who are you going to call?
Someone else.
Sergeant Bilko.
Listen, hotshot, I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't care for you or for the putrid sludge you're troweling out.
Oh, kid, you threw one by me. Savor the flavor, because it sure as hell won't happen again.
Yes, it's just that simple.
I love that.
I love it, too.
40 years of Bassomatic.
Exactly.
You know?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big HuffPost Show welcome to Mr. Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, yeah! He's creeping in. Right over here.
Sir,
Professor, how are you doing?
Good, thank you, sir. Right over here.
Thank you, thank you.
Dan Aykroyd. All right.
Well, thank you so much. You know, it's great to be here. What's wonderful is the commitment of this team here on the HuffPost Show. Did you know the guys live in the building here?
Yeah, yeah.
And some of the audience, too, I think, in residence. But
right there, yeah.
Yeah. But I looked at your apartment. It's habitable, and you haven't left, apparently, since the show started, 24/7. That's really admirable.
Is that why you brought us groceries?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
What do we have here?
There.
Well, it's the head.
Oh, he's giving us some head.
We never say that in our advertising.
Sorry,
we do
Mr.
not use that.
Don't use that.
No.
You said it. You could have said skull, but you said head.
Well, skull, yes. So, anyway, you know, we've got to treat it with respect. It's like fire. It's like a Ducati motorcycle or a fast car or a firearm. You have to be very careful. This is not something that you take home and drink alone. You do this with 10 people, and you put it in cocktails and enjoy it. It's our Crystal Head vodka, and more of that
For the non-initiated, we'll be sharing that with the audience?
Yes.
Yeah,
Why don't you share it with us?
Sure, I'll leave that right
We'll
there.
leave that.
Yes.
Now,
So that's there's no additives in that vodka. That's why we're in 50 countries and have sold over 6.5 million bottles. No glyceride, no sugar, no limonene, and it's basically a clean base for cocktails.
That's pretty
So we're
neat.
very
What
proud
made
of
you do vodka? I'm just going to move this over here.
Well, I found out the things that they put in a lot of lesser expensive vodkas. They add glyceride, which is a cousin to antifreeze.
Yeah.
They also add limonene, which is like a citric acid cleanser, and they also add sugar. So I thought, well, you know, I want to do something. I've always wanted to do something better in whatever I've done in my career, and I just thought I could clean this up and do something better in the vodka world. And we won the Prodexpo in Moscow.
Someone bring me a cup. Bring me a cup, somebody.
does it go down smooth? How does it stack up to King of Russia?
Bring me a cup, somebody.
We'll get it.
We'll get it.
Let's have an ice. Bring me if you have some ice.
We'll get some.
Yes, I don't know who drinks warm vodka.
In the meantime, I hate. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Stage Manager.
Anyway, our notes from the tasting panel are a sweet vanilla, dry, crisp with a kick of heat off the finish.
Oh,
and
wow.
we don't mask the alcohol, and so groceries you can call it. And there it is. Yeah, you'll taste. You'll get a little fire there, and you'll get our sweet peaches.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah,
I was preparing for this to be disgusting. Over at HuffPost Live, you know, I've had other guests come on, celebrity vodkas.
Yeah.
They usually taste like rubbing alcohol or cat urine. This.
Were you saying Dennis Rodman?
I wasn't going to say yes. Okay, Dennis Rodman's vodka was disgusting.
It tastes horrible. Oh, look, for everybody.
Yes.
We can just be completely shit-faced for the whole show. Fantastic. Yeah.
Well, now that's
will be funny.
Okay, give me just a thing.
We must respect the head.
Okay,
respect the head.
Again with the head.
But the Russians voted us out of 400 beverages best taste, and
that's for him.
And we can share.
We can share.
There we go.
I'll take like just a.
And you'll note if a lot of vodkas, if you open them up, they smell like Chanel No. 5. We do smell like alcohol because we don't mask it. But your taste profile, there's no over viscosity. Strovia.
Yeah.
There's no over viscosity. and now we're drinking.
God, you know everything about vodka. Did you become like were you like an alcohol person before this, or did you bone up?
I was more a Canadian beer guy, you know. That's
right.
I was weaned on that, you know, and so, but I just started to research what was in it and thought I can clean it up and do better, and people like the cleaned up taste. Sweet, vanilla, dry, crisp with a kick of heat off the finish.
And the heat is coming right down. I'm feeling it. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's getting right down.
Yeah, that's I mean, we're drinking it warm. I like it cold.
I hate to get off the vodka and get on to mundane stuff like your career and life and everything.
Move on.
This has been a
You asked me.
Yeah,
So.
I did. No, I'm thrilled about that. We've had a lot of transition in late night television this year, right? David Letterman retiring, Stephen Colbert, rest in peace, going away. Great show, great show. Jon Stewart now leaving. But 40 years on, SNL is still going strong. Lorne Michaels is still ruling the roost. Is he just going to die with his boots on?
He's going to stay there for as long as he can, I think. Yeah, and he should, because there's no one in the world that picks talent better, that works with writers and actors, and gets fledgling producers to begin to do their work and then go on to great careers. You know, Sandler, Wig, Farrell, Bonnie and Betty Turner, Bonnie and Betty Turner, and so many people have, you know. So I mean, there's no. I don't know of any institution in entertainment in the world that's like that.
Yeah,
that's endured so long.
That's why I enjoyed watching the anniversary special, you know, and seeing everybody come back together and seeing all the great energy. I was hoping Eddie Murphy was going to do something there.
I wanted to rip into that audience. You know how good he is, man.
Yeah.
You know, he could have just gone crazy on wigs and looks and glasses and, you know, the changing of appearances and how, you know, everybody was all kind of all equal, looking the same there in the tuxes, and, you know, none of us different. And, you know, I thought it was kind of an opportunity for him to really rip into it, but he went another way. You know.
Why do you think he did? I understood the part of it was the Cosby thing, right?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. It's just he's so good at riffing, and he's just one of the great monologists. And you know, that was if that was a crowd ripe for poking. That
now, but you know what?
Myself in there.
SNL has traditionally been a source of tremendous movies, tremendous movie characters, roles, actors. Ghostbusters, one of the classics.
Yes.
Yeah. So we know now.
Here's the Herald. Here's the Herald.
Yeah, Harold Ramis, everybody. Yeah. So
the Herald. Yes.
That's right.
Fantastic, Harold Ramis. Yeah.
Proje.
Now, a lot of talk this year about this all-female cast that's going to be doing it. Paul Feig is directing it with Melissa McCarthy and some Saturday Night Live greats.
Kristen
Wiig,
Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones.
Leslie Jones. So, but then there's another
There's like 10 other Ghostbusters movies coming out.
There's another one with Channing Tatum.
Well,
how many do we need? What's the story?
We need as many as the artists want to produce with the concept. I mean, it's kind of like the Marvel series. You know, there's opportunities here to do different types of stories. Now, the voices of the female Ghostbusters are wonderful. This guy has done a great job of making them their own, and also touching very subtly back to the first two movies. Kind of in a way that they don't exist, but they do exist. The writing's very skillful, and look at that powerhouse cast. And I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, this movie connect with a whole new generation of young women who don't know Ghostbusters, and also to a whole new generation that are going to go back, look at the first two movies, and see and enjoy it. Now we have grandkids of the original viewers who are giving the toys out and giving the screenings to their young kids and grandkids, and I just, you know, want to connect to a whole new cadre of female Ghostbusters.
There are some people on the internet though who are going nuts. Did you guys hear this? There are people on the internet who are saying this is going to ruin my childhood. Ghostbusters are supposed to be boys. They're supposed to be men. I don't want to see 3 women do it. Did you hear any of that?
Well, that's a little gender bias that's completely out of place in our world today. I mean,
yes.
I mean, come on.
Yes. I agree.
I do hope, though, that the girls, you know, that they don't always wear the jumpsuits, because I do the signings for the bottle. I go to places that sell the beverages, like, you know, Bev Mo here and Stater Brothers and Walgreens and Costco. You know, I go and many other of our partners, and I sign the bottle, and many female Ghostbusters show up with their husbands and their who are all, you know, in Ghost, and they have mini skirts sometimes, and you know what? They look good in the mini skirt.
Yeah.
It looks good. It's,
no bias there. It's just flat out good.
It's a cool look instead of that, you know. So I'm hoping that one of them will go for that kind of look.
Now,
can we just go in a different direction? Because I've always, I said if I ever meet Dan Aykroyd, I'm going to ask him about this. You believe in UFOs?
Well,
is that right?
I do. I've seen 4. And, you know, I can't say that they're alien craft, and neither can the Air Force. The Air Force has been very interested in this. They don't deny the existence of these hyperdynamic, super aerodynamic craft. They don't deny. Their anguish comes in that they can't tell you. They want to tell you everything but that they're extraterrestrial. Any excuse at all, even if they're unknown or unsolved. But the Air Force cannot just come out and admit that there are extraterrestrial beings far in advance of our culture that have built these machines. Bruce Maccabee has a book out right now. It's called The UFO-CIA Connection. Or the UFO FBI-CIA Connection. It's you can get it on Amazon. Bruce Maccabee is a former consultant for the Department of Surface Naval Warfare, for the division in the Navy there that covers surface naval warfare. He's a physicist. I mean, this is not some flake, and he has gone and taken meticulous research and gotten everything basically over the last, since the 40s, that the Air Force, the CIA, the FBI have written about it. And they're very interested in knowing what's going on, but they, like us, they don't know.
Have they asked you about the 4 you saw?
I didn't discuss with Bruce that, but they were definitely, well, there was one, well, two specifically were definite aerial constructs of some kind with one of them with a light and one of them dull gray. And they were structures, and one of them going very slow, one of them hovering over me, and then there were the two that my wife and friends and I saw high-altitude sighting many years ago in Martha's Vineyard. Two flying side by side. They were about 100,000 feet up, and they were going fast. And I just had my driver the other day. I went to work there, you know, and I had a driver that got the driver to spare the knee and the ankle and the hip. And he said he was in the SAC command, and he was up in Newfoundland. And one night they were in the hole there where the guys would come in, and he was a cook down in there, and he would cook for the SAC crews, and they'd come in and change their shift. And one day they were all gathered around the radar screen, and this thing was going 70,000 miles an hour and doing whip turns like this. Wow. So yeah, no, I believe that like Lord, you know, the Lord Hill Norton said, that there's probably many species coming and going, and that the Air Force is very interested. They don't deny the existence, but they can't come out and say, you know, because then you're going to go, you know, wait a minute. The parish priest, the cop on the beat, the president, you don't got the power.
Right. They've got the power.
They got the power.
Right up there.
The one with that black shit, the triangle, the delta, look at it, you know, I want to talk to them. And you'd have complete breakdown in society. The Brookings Institution in 1958 said as much. There was a study in that, and they said, you can't divulge this. You can't make that this is real. So 50% believe, 50% don't believe. I happen to be a believer because I've witnessed 4 really unexplained crafts. So.
Yeah. Huh? Well, there's some applause out there. He agrees.
Maybe he saw something. Maybe.
Now, a couple years ago, Dan, in an interview with The Guardian, you said that you had been diagnosed with Asperger's.
Never diagnosed. I'm sort of a self-diagnosis. I've read a lot about it.
What was the tip-off to you? What that gave you
was Asperger's.
Well,
yeah. Is it like WebMD?
It's like, yeah, I guess more like, yeah, I guess a self-diagnosis. Yeah, you know, so read up on it. I'm the type that would probably do surgery on myself, you know, so I don't know, just certain symptoms, I guess, you know, certain focuses, obsessions, and also, you know, vocalizations and stuff that I've seen in cases of Tourette's/Asperger's, and I'm thinking, you know, I think I've got to touch it at, and it was probably aggravated by a teacher that I had in grade 7. Who used to corporally punish me with a ruler and knuckles, and she was very mean.
Was she a nun?
No, no, ma'am. No, sir, she wasn't. No, she was just a teacher in the Catholic school system. She was just mean, and I think she set me off on a kind of a course of nervousness there that I'm still kind of struggling to kind of even out in my life.
Wow.
But you ascribed some of Ghostbusters was inspired by some of your obsessions?
Well, my family's always been into paranormal research. My great-grandfather was a dentist, and he was he was you know, he took medicine, so he was very interested. He was interested, as many were at the turn of the century. Crookes Lodge, Conan Doyle, Charles Richer. There were many people who were interested in you know, what is this phenomenon? What is maybe the survival of consciousness after death, where it seems that we can communicate with spirits? And so my dad's got a book out. It's called History of Ghosts. It's on Rodale Press. You can get it on Amazon, and it talks about the you know, the Aykroyd family interest in this. And my great-grandfather was kind of the reviewer in town of all the paranormal acts that rolled through town. There was a very strong interest in spiritualism at the turn of the century because people were looking, first of all, to contact the dead from World War I. They were looking at different religious options. And so you'd have come through town, you'd have a levitator would come through town, you'd have a medium, trance medium would come through town, you'd have the precipitated painters, the Campbell brothers, the Bang sisters. They would sit, there was a canvas here, and they would sit and wiggle their fingers like this, and an image would appear on the canvas like paint, unexplained. And my great-grandfather sort of wrote the review as to, that's a hoax, I didn't believe that, or there's something like genuine going on.
Like the Egert and Roper of
yeah,
ghosts.
That's right. Yeah, sure. Well, the best guy for the ghosts was Hans Holzer, was the guy who was the great ghost hunter, and he's got a book called Ghosts, and it has amazing stories in there. So, you know, I'm not alone in this. And the family interest was there. I sitting around the cottage. You
guys still do this?
Home. What's that?
You guys still into this stuff? Like, is Thanksgiving at your house like?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. Oh yeah, there's new stuff happening all the time.
Leave a couple extra seats for the visitors.
If we were to go back to the seances, I haven't done that for a while, but likely, maybe sometime in the future. But around the cottage there where we lived, in the summer, there were always, like, other cottages would have National Geographic and Life magazine lying around. We had the American Psychical Research Journals and Fate magazine and all, Wow. So the family's always been in. My dad's been in it, my grandfather, my great-grandfather. It's kind of the family business, if you want, really.
Well, now, another obsession of yours is law enforcement. I know that you, for many years, carried a badge around, and weren't you an auxiliary police officer in Louisiana for 15, 16
well,
years?
My grandfather on the other side of the family was a Royal Canadian Mounted Police Staff Sergeant, and I just, I think the real heroes in life are, in our world are teachers, nurses, firefighters, the armed forces, and the police, and I got asked to join a reserve auxiliary advisory committee by Chief John Doyle in Harahan, Louisiana in 1994, and I served there until 2011 under two chiefs, mainly assisting with resources after Hurricane Katrina. We came in with supplies and make sure that there was police on the streets, maybe supplementing salaries and resources. So
you didn't shoot anybody?
No. I mean, I'm proficient with a firearm. I wish that there were more, I would say, training in the less lethal alternatives. There's a lot of.
So what do you make of what's this moment? Where we're having all this discussion?
America's flat out gun crazy. That's it, man. And
I'll applaud that one.
Agreed.
And but of course, it's guns in the wrong hands. There are alternatives. There's taser. There's a sound system that you can use to disable someone. There's a high frequency generator that you can use. There's a net that you can fire, and it completely closes over the top part of the body.
Yeah.
So why aren't we looking into?
Mark is familiar with all of those.
Yes. All of those things have happened to me since I moved to LA.
Yeah, in the last.
That's terrible.
No, but the reason I ask is because a week and a half ago, this guy, 73-year-old auxiliary officer, reaches for the taser, accidentally pulls out a gun and shoots somebody.
Well,
73-year-old officer. I don't know if you followed the story, but I mean, it seemed a little odd that someone that age would even be doing this.
Well, there's a lot of elderly people who have a lot to offer in every community, in every profession. So he had a pretty good record, that guy, it seems, and he was there a long time. But at a certain point, you just let the guy go. I mean, we up in Canada, usually chases are called off after once you get to 50 miles an hour up in a street there in Canada. You back off. You don't chase him anymore. And that guy who ran away, let him go. His Mercedes is there. He's going to come back for that. Come on, just let him go. What? You shoot him in the back? It's terrible.
Got a broken window.
He's going to come back get that Merc.
Yeah.
That was completely unnecessary.
Last question here.
But I served till 2011 at Harahan, and then the new chief came in, and he didn't like the idea of these executive sort of reserve guys, so he fired all 200 of us.
What? Really?
Oh, boo! Yeah. Give a boo!
Boo, Chief. Yeah. Joe Friday would not be happy with that. No.
No, you're damn right about that, buddy.
Yeah. We almost didn't have you as a comedian, though, right? Weren't you on a path to the priesthood? You went to seminary?
Well,
Father Dan?
I went to St. Pius X Minor Preparatory Seminary for Boys. I did go there. My first interview, my parents said, they said, look, Dan, we could send you to the public school system, but we think you would get a better education in the Catholic school system. So I agreed to go in for the interview, and I'm sitting there. My mom's here, my dad's there, Father Lunny is there, classic, Irish lilt from the west, from the Ottawa Valley, and the red hair. And he says, well, Dan, so you're considering the vocation. You'd like to look at the priesthood as a career path and a way to make a living and go on and serve God. And here was my answer. Yes.
Was it the poverty? Was it the vow of abstinence? What exactly was it?
Oh, it was it was more to please my parents and get in there. And you know what? I had a good education. I was there until grade 11 and met a great bunch of guys and some really inspiring instructors. And it was although they asked me to leave in grade 11, they said your son is not suitable for the priesthood, and we move on. But it was a good education, quite full. Stimulated a lot of interest in me in history and geography, science and stuff. And I liked my instructors; they were good guys.
We're thrilled that you chose to sort of take the path towards comedy, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Aykroyd. Thank you very much. You just hang here for a minute.
Hang here, Dan. Yes.
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Vodka man.
Yes. Yes. While Dan sips his vodka, we'll talk about some other stuff here. Earlier this week, in discussing Hillary Clinton, my other good buddy, Bill O'Reilly, made the case for his favorite victim.
If you're a Christian or a white man in the USA, it's open season on you.
Yeah, we feel your pain, Bill, but it's only going to get worse. You see, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, white people will go from being the majority to a minority group in the next 25 years. Yeah, and to make this transition a little less traumatic, we've put together this helpful educational guide.
White people, they used to be everywhere. In our homes, at our jobs, and on our juries. For years, white people were the majority in this country. And when you're the majority, America feels like one long sing-along around the campfire. But those days are about to come to an end. That's right, it won't be long before white people in America will be just another minority. Going from majority to minority in America can be painful. Just ask the American Indian. Luckily, America is very clear on how minorities should be treated. Here are some helpful guidelines to get you started. The first thing you'll need to do is find a new place to live. Why, look at all those lovely suburban homes. How can anyone choose? Now, you don't have to. As a minority, society chooses for you. You'll be limited to your city's high-crime, low-income neighborhoods, making searching for that home sweet home easy as pie. Ah, the freedom of the open road. Now that you're a minority, driving's a new kind of adventure. Simply driving a car while white means you'll automatically be under suspicion of having committed a violent crime. And when the policeman pulls you over, do exactly what he says. Because in America, it's not unusual for minorities to be shot for not being arrested quickly enough. Until recently, the only crimes people blamed the whites for were harmless violations like corporate malfeasance resulting in global economic collapse and the occasional mass murder. But as a minority, you can expect to be blamed for all the crime. Managed to stay out of the clink? Well, Jimmy cracked corn. Now it's time to find a job. Well, it used to be that the working world was your occupational oyster. You'll now find your options limited to a career in the lawn maintenance, migrant farming, and table bussing industries. Oh, and remember, don't think of it as job hunting anymore. As a minority, you should think of it as taking our jobs. So, say hello to the new America. Sure, the loss of white privilege might take some getting used to, but there's no reason why, with a few simple downgrades to your expectations, you shouldn't become a proud, happy, constructive member of society. a society in which you're a minority.
White people.
Love them.
Okay, time for our panel. First up, she is a YouTube sensation who will star in HBO's upcoming series, Insecure. And she's on the cover of the new Essence magazine. It's the awkward black girl herself, Issa Rae.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
All right, he's a co-founding member of the Upright Citizens Brigade, who is currently killing it as bumbling press secretary Mike McClintock on HBO's Veep. Give it up for Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, there were a lot of compelling stories that the HuffPost readers were looking at this week, but none more so than a middle-aged white woman purchasing a chicken burrito at Chipotle. Yep. As usual, the press focused on the most important issues. Meanwhile, on the GOP side, candidates like Rand Paul and Marco Rubio focused not on each other, but almost exclusively on Hillary. It was like a case of premature evisceration.
What path will America take? Will it be a path to the past? A road to yesterday? To a place we've been to before? Hillary Clinton represents the worst of the Washington machine.
Now, just yesterday, a leader from yesterday began a campaign for president by promising to take us back to yesterday.
See, I think what he forgets, though, is that yesterday the economy was incredibly high. There was no wars, and the worst thing was a blowjob. I mean, you know, it seems like maybe there were better days to be looking at. Now, Matt, as a professional.
I understand what blowjob means. Is that what you're
yeah.
You didn't lose me. That's a political term, right?
It is. It's a very specific political term.
That's how coups happen, I think. When a coup d'etat happens, there's usually a blowjob involved.
Nice.
Yeah.
Almost always.
I did not know that. You learned something new. This is why you're professional. But as a press secretary, or at least playing one on television, how would you rate this first week for Hillary? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Where's the thumb go?
I don't really care about any of it, to be honest.
Yes, thank you.
I don't.
Thank you.
I don't care about any of it. I guess, like, the challenge for Hillary, because I think she's an awesome candidate. I might be partial lefty. But the challenge for her people and her team and her spin doctors is going to make her more likable because she's polarizing, and some people call her a bitch because she's a powerful woman, unfairly, obviously. So I think they're going to try to soften her, and they're going to try to work the grandmother angle. And I think, who cares about Chipotle or anything? I think truly, here's my crazy theory about Hillary. They should get Chelsea to have a second baby, okay? Because a woman with one grandchild is a grandma, but a woman with two grandkids is a real grandma. And you get her out in front with those two babies, she'll win.
Really?
I'm kidding you. I'm not kidding you.
You were nodding when he said that you didn't care.
Yo, I absolutely do not care. She got a chicken burrito. I get a chicken burrito all the time. And
you're very presidential.
I'm very presidential, clearly. But it's just like, I feel like we're making a mountain out of a molehill. And that's what, like, politics have become the new TMZ. And journalists have been following that model to capture every single moment and to make a story out of every single moment and try to deconstruct every single moment. And that just does not matter. She was just hungry. We're all hungry.
But who's taking the picture?
Well, that's why.
Wasn't it a security camera?
That's a surveillance camera.
I don't know about that.
The crazy thing is, she walked in there and no one recognized her. She went to Iowa to campaign and didn't speak to anybody, and none of the.
She's on a listening tour. That's why.
Listening to.
Yeah.
And no one in Chipotle knew who she was.
Which is understandable because she was just. Nobody's looking like is Hillary Clinton about to be ordering a burrito. Nobody cares.
Well, I'll tell you who was looking, the Republicans, and it wasn't just Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz and all of them and Rand Paul. It was other Republicans who weren't even running for office attacking Hillary already. I want to show you guys a clip of one person in particular. Check this out.
I have to tell you, 8 years of one demographically symbolic president is enough.
What does that mean? Demographically symbolic.
I mean, that's the most condensed form of racism I've ever seen. That was like 6 seconds.
That was
racism and sexism.
Yes.
So is that what we're going to be hearing now for the next
Apparently, that's what Hillary's campaign, that's what Hillary's presidency will be reduced to, is just her gender role ultimately. And I think that's how Republicans see her. And that's the issue in the first place.
But isn't that a strength? I mean, why would you pick at that as a weakness?
They don't see it as a strength at all. I mean, I think that's the problem. They're using that to scare people. We had a black president that we all thought was terrible, apparently, according to the Republican Party. And now we're going to have a female president that you guys are going to hate as well. Let's not take risks. Let's stick with the white man.
It's not a bad strategy.
He fits the suit. He fits the suit.
Right.
That's true.
You know, get someone the same size as Obama. So it's not about race. It's just someone who fits the suit. So we can pass down the presidential suit.
So just not the pantsuit.
Yeah, just like in showbiz. You're the right size. Get out there, kid.
Right.
All right. So
that's how I got the gig. Yeah. 38 regular, baby. That was it.
Your predecessor's initials are still on your coat.
So safe to say Chris Christie won't be president then.
No, I'm sorry. He doesn't fit the suit.
I couldn't resist. All right. But no, you're right.
You're fat-shaming now.
I don't mean to fat shame. There's plenty of reasons not to like Chris Christie other than being
fat. You fat shaming son of a bitch.
But here's the thing.
But you weigh 400 pounds. Maybe you should have some shame. But they're coming after Hillary, right? And some people are actually congratulating Hillary. They're saying, she didn't get a lap band like Chris Christie, or she didn't get plastic surgery like other people. There was an editorial where they actually said, congratulations, Hillary Clinton, for not getting plastic surgery.
The no Botox
and
run
no
for the
Botox.
White House.
I mean, why are we even talking about is this a gender thing? Would we be talking about this if it were a man?
No, I think there is a genetic predisposition in the species that I think we judge women by their youth. I think there's a prejudice against, as you age out quicker as a woman in our society. I think that's a fact. As opposed to a man. Men are allowed to do things or sire a kid. Obviously, you can sire a kid when you're 70. Tony Randall did. He loved women his whole life. Yeah. You know Tony.
Yes.
He's a real pea hound.
Yeah, F you. Felix Unger.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, but it's interesting that other than Mark's comments about Chris Christie, we tend not to say that Ted Cruz is kind of a weird-looking guy, but people feel that it's okay. For instance, look at this guy. This guy said that Hillary was too hideous to be president. Now, if you look like that, should you be talking about looks? But only a guy would think that he has the right to do that.
Nobody cares. I think I'm just more horrified by the fact that there is an expectation. Like, people were betting on the fact that Hillary would need and would get plastic surgery. And the fact that she didn't, we're celebrating that. And I think that that's a travesty at the end of the day. I applaud her for just being old as fuck and being out there, because I want to be old as fuck and not have to alter my face or body in any way, shape, or form.
But I gotta say, there's not a wrinkle. It's
Is
fabulous.
there not? Thank you.
You
That's
are
the
looking
makeup,
pretty fabulous.
backstage.
Yeah, really.
Thank you.
But now, here's the thing. Don't we want our presidents to be experienced? Isn't that the point? It's not about youthfulness. Absolutely. It's not about dewiness. It's about line between gravitas. No.
I mean, isn't the election about those swing voters? Like, obviously, she's going to lock up the left. Like, she's going to raise money. She'll raise bananas money, right? Mm-hmm. She'll be able to have a war chest, I believe. The Clintons are wired into that world. And she obviously has, like, the women vote, I would think. She's strong in the women vote, I would think. So they have to get those people in the middle. So they're going to try to cross her over however they can. And then the Republicans are going to try to marginalize. They're going to solidify their base with their conservative, like, basically racist or sexist hidden messages. So it's where that middle, it's like, how do you win that middle is what, and I don't have the strategy. Like, as a fake publicist in D.C., I don't have the answer. But I do think things like if Chelsea had 2 kids, I swear to God, she would win the election.
That's your strategy.
I'm not kidding you.
Impregnate Chelsea Clinton is his campaign strategy.
I'm not kidding you. Then you make that the story. And then you talk about, oh, she's excited about her second grandkid, and that wins the moms in the Midwest over who think she's a bitch. She's like, she's not a bitch. She's excited about her second grandchild.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
But then the Republicans are just going to say she's too big.
And I believe in aliens.
Right. All right, let's move on to another conversation, because the interweb was buzzing over the last couple of days because of something that, of all people, Clorox did. The social media world went nuts because Clorox was responding to Apple, which released ethnically diverse emojis, right? And so in response, Clorox put out this tweet. Now, in all fairness, it wasn't just ethnically diverse emojis. There was a whole bunch of emojis here. I mean, there were like toilets and like umbrellas and all, shower heads, all kinds of stuff. And Clorox said, new emojis are all right, but where's the bleach? Now, again, most people understood that the emojis were ethnically diverse emojis. People thought there were like 4 or 5 black and brown emojis coming out, and they thought that Clorox was saying, these emojis are cool, but where's the bleach? So people got frustrated, and tweets like this show up. Really, Clorox? A bleach reference when they introduce emojis of color? Another person. That Clorox bleach tweet was obviously pretty racist. It's funny how people mostly white are saying we blowing it out of proportion. I really wish we get a black tweet with punctuation. But that's a fucking racial microaggression right there. Yeah, but there were like 5,000 black tweets.
People.
One of them had a period and a semicolon in that motherfucker, right? But anyway, Keith Robinson.
He's critical, Keith.
Yeah. Keith Robinson responds, taking the other side, and says, this Clorox bleach tweet scandal is just another case of the hypersensitive culture that is destroying America. So the question is, what do we make of this? What's the lesson to be learned from this?
Do you think we are hypersensitive?
In some cases, yes, but this is another instance of like a brand trying to be funny on Twitter and failing. Like it feels like brands keep trying to test out their jokes.
That's an intern at Clorox who got let go.
They're apologizing every single week, and it's just dumb. Like nobody's seeing that tweet. Like I'm gonna go buy some bleach now. I'm gonna go. Like I'm gonna go to the store.
So it's not the racism. It's just the lack of funny. I mean, right?
Yeah, and it's like
a little bit of both.
A little bit of both?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all,
you found that racist?
You are a cleaning supply company. You don't want to offend black and brown people. I mean, that just, I mean, like, of all the people to offend, you know what I mean?
No, but were you offended by that?
I was offended by their lack of awareness. When I see a tweet like that, I say, oh, yeah, they ain't got no black people in the office.
Right.
There's no black people in the office.
Yeah. So that's, it's a matter of corporate diversity for you.
Yeah, and being tone deaf. I mean, most people who heard about the new emojis didn't hear about the umbrella emoji or the wrench emoji. They heard about the black people were happy that there was a black emoji. I got tired of sending a smiley face that looked like you. So when the emojis came out,
my smiley face is yellow.
I'm a happy guy.
I repeat,
I'm a happy guy.
Right. So we were like, oh, black Twitter was like, yo, we got black emojis, and then Clorox was like, hey, where's the bleach?
Yeah. But Matt, when you look at that, do you think that was racist?
Don't care. Again, don't care.
Matt, don't care anything.
I know it's such an easy position.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible guy.
White people say for 500, Alex.
If your Sherlock Holmes take on that is right, then that's bad. If that's they're tone deaf as a result of not having any diversity in the office, then that's a fair point. I agree with you. But it is someone. It's like I said, like an intern at Clorox who has no sense of humor.
Right.
And it's all theater to me. Like I care in the sense that it is entertaining, but like. I don't think those people arguing those points are someone I'm going to read an op-ed piece by.
Yeah. I think it's also the fact that brands don't necessarily have the greatest track record when it comes to sensitivity. The Frito Bandito, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
The cream of wheat guy. What was his name?
I don't remember. The
Rustus or something like that?
I don't know. I don't think they were tone deaf, though. I think they just were racist.
They were just flat out racist.
Yes. Like Uncle Ben worked for somebody in that company.
Yeah. Now, speaking of this conversation about diversity, you're on the cover of Essence with Shonda Rhimes.
Yes.
And Shonda said, you know, she is tired of getting these questions about diversity because this is not the Jim Crow South. This is just normal now. Do you feel kind of tired of this dialogue, or?
I mean, I do feel tired of it.
But it is awkward black girl.
But I just wanted to throw that out there because I think that if you go past that title and you say, okay, she's black, and you're still reading it, then you're a regular, progressive, normal person. So I'm throwing it out there. I'm black, guys, just in case you didn't know. But I mean, she's absolutely right that this is normal. That's a normal part of American society. So it makes sense that diversity should be represented on television. But I do get tired of being asked to constantly speak about the black experience. Like if I'm writing an article, it's like, hey, we love your writing. We just want you to talk about being black and why you're mad about it. And that's the frustrating. I'm like, what if I'm not mad today? I'm actually just fine, you know?
Then you can't write anything.
Sure, I
Nothing
can't
to write.
I mean, we don't need anything from you.
We can't have that. Sorry.
Yes.
Next month, call us when you're pissed.
Please.
You just surf Clorox.com like you always do. That's right. It's such a great website, just for everything.
Fantastic.
News, weather, sports.
Yeah.
It's really good.
The glare from it is a little...
Yeah, it's a little bright. It's a little
bright. Yeah. Not yellow, you know. It was Clorox. Anyway, finally, we'd be remiss if we failed to talk about the fact that Veep has been renewed for a 5th season.
Yes.
But but without guiding light Armando Iannucci at the helm.
That's correct.
What the hell happened?
Like a break. Armando has done 11 years of political satire, and I think he's a little burnt out.
Oh, man.
So I think it spoke about it in season 3 and then in season 4. His family's in England, so he was just tired. He didn't want to come overseas, and managing a show and producing a show and head writing a show is exhausting. So I think he wanted a little time to himself. But we've installed a great guy, Dave Mandel, who has great pedigree, Seinfeld and Curb, and the whole cast is the same. And I think the voices of the characters are pretty strong, so knock on wood, it'll still be really good.
You're a great press secretary. That was like a press secretary.
The press secretary.
Did I do good?
Yeah, the shit's not going to fall apart.
You found something I cared about.
Finally, yourself.
My little narrow worldview.
Now, so you both got projects at HBO.
When are we going to see yours?
Mine is currently in pre-production. We're still trying to hire a director, so.
Oh,
really?
Yes, that's it. But yeah, we're supposed
though.
to be shooting this summer.
But here's the question. It's called Insecure?
Insecure.
So you're awkward, you're insecure. God, you're messed up.
I'm pretty messed up, which should make for a great show, I hope.
That makes sense.
It'll be a great show. We'll check it out.
All right, everybody, please.
Yes, please join us in thanking Issa Rae, Matt Walsh.
Thank you.
Yes. Again, Veep is on HBO Sunday nights. And make sure you check out Issa's new book, The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, which is out right now. Go buy it when you leave here. Okay, those were some of the stories that are alive and kicking this week. But now it's time to pay a tribute to a story that's no longer with us.
Almonds. Or almonds.
I mean, I like almonds, but, you know, sometimes you got to take one for the team.
Say adios to my delicious almond milk.
You know, Mark, I am so glad that almonds have had absolution because I like almond milk and I was feeling very guilty.
Yeah, I never stopped eating almonds.
No?
Nah, I didn't give a shit. I don't live in California.
You don't live in California, yeah.
Anyway, before we finish, we want to do our part to make your weekend a little bit better.
That is right. We want to help ensure that you are well prepared and able to be part of any conversation that comes up.
So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a quick lightning round of party prep. We're going to check out the Huffington Post and give you a ready-made take that you can use should any of these stories come up this weekend.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, here is the first headline. Rubio and the rapper. Hoping to build up his youth appeal, GOP presidential hopeful Marco Rubio claimed to be on a first-name basis with rapper Pitbull. Mark, if this story comes up at a party, what do you say?
I think you should say, interesting. I wonder how long it'll take before his campaign realizes that everyone is on a first-name basis with Pitbull.
Yeah.
His name's Pitbull.
It's kind of tautological. Yeah, Madonna, Rihanna.
Exactly, all right.
Yeah.
Next up, Wedding Crasher. That's more Rubio, in case you were wondering. He told Univision that, of course, he would attend the wedding of a gay couple he cared about. Roy, what's my party time take?
You say, of course he'd go, but his toast would be, may you two have a long, happy life together. Until I become president, then shit is gonna get real.
Love it.
All right, next headline, fish kill. Yes, a Texas aquarium accidentally killed most of its fish after a medication treatment backfired. Mark?
Oh, this is an easy one. You say, I don't want to pile on, but if you work at an aquarium, you really only got 2 jobs. 1, you upsell novelty t-shirts, and 2, you don't kill the fucking fish.
Yeah. It's not a hard game.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
That's all you do. All right. Fuck. All right, Hoosier Rehab. Indiana hires a PR firm to burnish its image in wake of religious freedom controversy. Roy,
oh, yeah, I got
this
one. You just say, I think Indiana should just save its money and not worry if the rest of the world thinks it's just a bigoted backwater full of intolerant idiots. It's always worked for Texas.
That's true. That's true.
Never failed.
Always worked for Texas.
Yeah. Okay. Those were our takes. We'd love to hear yours, so just tweet them to us with the hashtag HPShowTakes. And we really do want this to be a two-way conversation, so please follow us on Twitter and Instagram, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and as always, swipe right on Tinder.
That's right. Please join us in thanking Dan Aykroyd, Matt Walsh, Issa Rae,
along with Marco Rubio, Gina, White People, California Almonds, and all the other newsmakers who made this such an interesting week.
Good night,
everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click here for more videos.
And make sure to catch new episodes Friday at 9 p.m. on HuffingtonPost.com.